That Icelandic volcano that has been spewing ash into northern Europe's airspace continues to play havoc with travel plans, leaving airlines sending out on-again, off-again flight notices that have been changing almost day to day. Some say it's the new normal, and travelers have to learn to go with the flow and take precautions in case of delays or cancellations. The CEO of British Airways offered his thoughts on how Europe should deal with this situation in the future.
I think Europe should adopt a model that has been very effective in the United States, where they have to deal with volcanic ash on a daily basis. And the situation that applies there is that the airlines, who have the expertise and have the experience, assess the risk based on all available data and make a judgment as to whether we should fly or not.
Meanwhile, AGN Biz Doc Nick Bontis says there's still lots of good news taking flight in the air travel industry if you do your homework. So, Nick, whether it's for business or for pleasure, what are your top tips for air traveler?
Okay, I have 5 tips for you. The first one has to do with pricing, because we want to travel as cheaply as possible. And the thing that you need to do is you need to book at least 14 days in advance of your trip. Last-minute travelers always pay a higher price, and have at least a Saturday night stayover on your trip. Those are 2 algorithms that the computer software uses to calculate your price, because every single person who's sitting on that plane is paying a different price than you.
Interesting.
Second piece of advice is luggage. A lot of people identify themselves on the outside of a luggage, but you should also put identifying information on the inside of a luggage. And the reason for that is because you could have that tag stripped off by accident in travel, and then no one's going to be able to locate what your luggage is. Invest in some noise cancellation earphones as well, Connie.
Got them. They're great. I can highly recommend them.
Makes nice, peaceful travel. You can watch nice, beautiful movies. Another thing is hydration. A lot of dry air on planes, especially for long trips, 2 hours or longer. You want to have a nice bottle of water. Take a sip, every 20 or 30 minutes. Make sure you get up at least once every hour and walk around. Just get that circulation going on your legs. And the final advice is when you're traveling with children. If you can book ahead early, obviously it's better to get that bulkhead seat. And make sure you bring personal DVD player for those kids so they're not running up and down the aisles, and bring their favorite food as well, because they're a little kind of iffy when it comes to that airplane food.
Sounds like you're speaking from experience, Nick Bontis. Okay, best way to do your research, say for a resort destination.
So for resorts, the internet is great because we have so much information available. Tons of people have been to the place that you want to go to, so take advantage of their knowledge. Best website is tripadvisor.com. Want to visit that website, look at all the commentary, and specifically concentrate on individuals who have the same factors that you do. Number of children, number of travelers, perhaps live in the same place, and that's the best way. And the interesting thing about that website is you can actually generate a direct communication with those individuals through email if you like to ask some specific questions. Like, I want to know, how's the pool, how's the beach? That's the best way to do that research.
What about border crossing? A lot has changed in recent years.
Yeah. Well, the first thing we need to remember is everything has changed since 9/11. You have to have your documents in order. Always check your passports. They can't be expired. If you're traveling as a business person to the U.S., make sure you have the correct visa. So I have a TN visa in my passport, which allows me as a consultant to do consulting work temporarily in the U.S. without any trouble. And for those of you that are frequent travelers to the U.S., you can also use a Nexus Pass. And the Nexus Pass allows you to take a nice eye scan on a kiosk, and as soon as that eye scan approves that you are who you say you are, boom, you walk right through the custom line right into the U.S. It's very, very convenient.
So more and more people will be going that route then.
That's correct.
Finally, how do you pick the best seat on an airplane?
Well, Connie, frankly, the only time I ever enter a plane, I always turn left. That's just a joke.
Lucky you.
First class is always the way to go, but
yeah,
for most of us that can't afford first class, they say typically that the best seat on a plane is the one right on the emergency exit row. You have a couple of extra inches of leg room, couple of extra inches in front of you, and of course, assuming that no emergency ever takes place, if one does, you have the quickest route outside the plane.
Good advice. I'm going to think about that one. I'm still thinking about the fact that the guy next to me might have paid a lot less than I did. I don't like that part. But anyway, thanks, Nick. And happy travels to you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick.